Greeting to all the students. Welcome to Global Online. Here we are back with our management topic. That is, this video is basically on the topic of paper 2 management, that is strategic management unit. And in this video, we are going to see a complete strategic management topics. So you have to ensure that the video is been watched from that is start till end, so that your one topic of strategic management unit is completed. Let me update you that in on the Global Online we have a paper 2 course that is consisting of entire management units, which consist of video lectures, which consist of notes, which consist of previous year question papers, and also target bid preparation. So if you are interested in getting this course and you are interested in cracking your paper 2 also very smoothly, you can get in touch with us on the given WhatsApp number, and that will help you to ensure that with your paper 1, paper 2 is also taken care and properly revised. So this specific preparation will help you to ensure that you do not have any tension for clearing your paper 2 for management.
Yes. So we are going to start with the first term, that is, what is strategy? So basically, strategy is something which is derived from the Greek word strategos, that is stratus, it means the army, and ego, it means the one which is leading or moving. So the concept of strategy has been borrowed from military, basically. So strategy is an action that the managers take to attain one or more of the organization's goals. A strategy can be defined as a general direction set for the company and has its various components to achieve. So in simple, I can say that strategy is nothing but your planning process. You can tell us as an action plan. A strategy is all about integrating organizational activities and utilizing and allocating the resources with the organizational environment so that they can meet the present objectives. So if you have seen, strategy is basically nothing, as I said, it is an action plan in order to achieve the goals. But in that process, it is very, very important to understand whether the resources, how to utilize the resources, whether the resources are scarce, or how to ensure that this with the scarce resources, the environmental organization environment can be maintained in order to achieve the present objective. So whatever you're doing, whatever actions you have been taking, that is with an intention to achieve the goals, and that's how the strategy is built. We have a detailed definition in the form of 4 P's of strategy, which is given by Mintzberg. So according to Mintzberg, strategy is a plan, a means of getting here to there. It is a pattern in action. It is an action over a period of time. It is a position, that is a reflection, decision to offer particular products or services in a particular market. It is a perspective, that is vision and direction, and it is a ploy, that is getting better of the competitors by plotting the disruption, the discouragement, or influencing that strategy, where the ploy is as well as basically we can say that the strategy can be a ploy as well as it can be a plan. So you can get this question in the form of match the following, or in the form of one word, in the form of sentence question also. So 4 P's of Mintzberg's are basically plan, pattern, position, and perspective. Then we have the next topic, that is okay, the difference between the term policy and strategy. Many times it is this seen that students get confused what exactly is the meaning of policy, or what exactly is the meaning of the word strategy, or how does it differ. So policy is nothing but it is a blueprint, okay, of the activities which are routine in nature, which are carried out on a day-to-day basis, whereas strategy, it is the decision which have not been in the same form. So definitely the form of the strategy differs every now and then depending upon the situation. Policy formulation is responsibility of the top level management, whereas strategy formulation can be done even by the middle level management. Policy deals with routine or the daily activities, as I said, which are efficient for the running of an organization. Strategy deals with the strategic decisions which are important in order to achieve the organization goals. Policy is concerned with both thoughts as well as action, and strategy is concerned it is concerned mostly only with action. Policy is what is not done, whereas strategy is a methodology which is used to achieve a target which is prescribed as per the policy. So policy basically is nothing but you can say a blueprint. Strategy is a action plan. Policy can be initiated by the top level management. Strategy can be basically done by the middle level management. One is as in daily activity, that is the policy, whereas one is about the strategic decisions depending upon the organizational goals. And next is we have hierarchical levels of strategy. So here also you can get a question on the levels of strategy. So we have functional level strategy, we have business level strategy, and we have corporate level strategy. So when we talk about functional level, like functions, HR, finance, marketing, production. Business level, so it is like business, the subunit or a department wise, or corporate is the head office. Now let's little bit see let's understand what is strategic management now. So till now we did only strategy. What is strategic management? It is basically the identification and description of the strategies that the managers can carry in order to achieve the better performance or the competitive advantage. So it is basically for the performance and the advantage of the organization. A bundle of decisions and acts which a manager undertakes and which decides the result of the performance. So basically it is nothing but then actions which are taken by the manager for the sake of performance. It is both predictable as well as unfeasible contingencies, that is depending upon the situation. So if you define properly what is strategic management, it is nothing but formulating, that is forming, as well as implementing, that is following the policies or following the strategies, that is action plan, and at the same time evaluating the effectiveness. So whether it's not only restricted to form and to implement, but after that the evaluation also plays an important role. So David defines strategic management as an art and science of formulating, implementing, and evaluating the cross-functional decisions that helps the organization to achieve its objectives. So this is the process in which the strategic management can look at. So we have a strategic intent which talk about the vision, mission, and goals. We have the environmental analysis in the form of SWOT analysis, that is external as well as internal. External talks about opportunities and threats, whereas internal talks about strength and weakness. Then we have a formulation which is done at the corporate level, business level, and functional level, after which it is implemented and then it has been evaluated. And depending upon the evaluation, the control measures are taken into consideration. So this is how basically the strategy works out. So we have the vision, mission, and goals. We have the analysis part. We have a formulation part. We have the implementation, and then we have to go for evaluation. Now let's understand what are the features of strategic management. So when we talk about features, so definition, once you're clear, features becomes easily, that is, implementing the decisions regarding the organization's goals, that is from the future point of view, identifying the direction, that is, understanding what is the direction in which organization needs to move. Then a continuous process which helps to evaluate and control the business, and it evaluates its competitors, that is, it set the goals and strategies, and then it revalidates the strategies so that it is implemented in successful way, or if not, it can be replaced. So this is, yes, both the options are available, whether it is implementation or the replacement for the achievement. Now, how can one benefit with the help of strategic management? Yes, it has a clear vision. It is, it is improved understanding of the environment. So it helps to understand the environment rapidly. It minimizes the adverse conditions and changes. It encourages the favorable attitude towards the change. So it, it builds up some favorability, a positivity, you can say. Allows effective allocation of allows effective allocation of time and resources among the various business units. So yes, it is definitely a benefit for the organization. What are the components? We have studied the strategic management component in the form of strategic intent, which includes your vision, mission, and goals and objective. So let's understand, let's understand what exactly the strategic intent contains. So what is the intent? I mean to say, what exactly is intended as a strategy of the organization. So it should be with the help of mission statement, vision statement, as well as the goals and objectives. Okay, now let's start with the topic. If you remember last lecture, we started with the topic that is strategic intent, which consists of your vision, mission, goals, and objectives. So let's see it in detail. So the organization's strategic intent is a purpose that it exists. So intent is nothing but a purpose for the existence of the organization. and it will continue to exist providing it maintains a competitive advantage. So in case, if you want to exist it, if you want to remain sustained, it has to make a competitive advantage. It gives a picture what an organization must be into immediately, in order to achieve the company's vision. So how the organization should be, that is, understood from the strategic intent. It also motivates the people of the organization and clarify the vision of the company. It also helps the management to concentrate on the priorities, which, on the basis of their sequence or links. Strategic intent is nothing but the influence of organization's resource potential and core competencies to achieve what at first may seem to be unachievable goals. So it is something, where it feels that it is something which is beyond the capacity, but yes, slowly, gradually, by making various strategies, by understanding the competitive advantage, it can be possible. So what does strategic intent include? So it includes the direction of the organization, which needs, attention on the need of winning. It means achieving, inspiring the people, that is the human resources, by telling them that the targets are valuable, encouraging the individual as well as the team participation for the contribution, utilizing the intent, that is, to allocate this for the direct allocation of resources. So strategic intent differs from the strategic fit in a way that while strategic fit deals with harmonizing available resources and the external environment, strategic intent emphasizes on building of new resources. So it is very, very important that new resources should be built up with the potential so that they create or they explore or exploit the future opportunities. So this will be beneficial. Indirectly, it will be beneficial to the organization. So let's understand what is the purpose of strategic intent. We know that, okay, strategic intent has a reason, okay? So let's understand what is that reason. So it focuses on organization's attention on the essence of winning. Winning, it means in order to achieve the objectives. So whatever may come, but objectives has to be achieved, and that's what the strategic intent is, aiming at. It motivates the employees by communicating and the values of the target, which they are supposed to be, achieving. It leaves room for individual and team contribution so that they get the recommendations, they get the, you can say, suggestions, and accordingly they can work on. And it helps in optimum utilization of resources, that is no wastages. So the first thing is to set the intent, that is, what exactly is required, the attributes or the features. The second thing is to set the challenges in the form of the urgency or the milestones. And third is to empower the intent. It means it all involves all the employees. So now, as we know that strategic intent contains what? So let us understand individually how this intent can overall help the organization to achieve the goal. So first is the mission statement. So the role of a statement of the role by which organization intends to serve its stakeholders. So it describes why an organization is operating, and it provides a framework within which, the strategies are formulated, within which the strategies are framed. It describes the organization present capability, that what the organization does, to whom it all serves, that is the stakeholders, what the organization, makes, that is the reason for existence. A mission statement differentiates an organization by others by explaining the activities or perspective with the help of products, with the help of technologies, and it sets the goals and objectives to be achieved. So like one such example is Walmart mission we will take. So it to give ordinary folk the chance to buy the same thing as the rich people. Mission statement always exists at the top level and may be also made for various organization levels. The chief executive plays a significant role in formulation of mission statement. Once the mission statement is formulated, it serves the organization in the long run. Maybe it can become ambiguous with the growth and innovation. But yes, mission statement to a very great extent plays an important role in strategic intent. Then we have features. So how the mission statement is, it is feasible, it is possible to achieve, it is clear, it should be inspiring, it should be precise enough. So when we say feasible, it means it is possible to achieve. When we say clear, so that any action can be taken, it is that much clarity is given. Inspiring, which will not only inspire the management, but the staff as well as the society. If I say precise, it will neither be too broad or not too narrow. It should be basically the way it should be. Unique, so it will leave a distinctive, impact in everyone's mind. It should be analytical, so it means it should use the key components of the strategy. And when we say creditable, so all the shareholders should believe it. So Microsoft mission, is to help people and businesses throughout the world to realize their full potential. So this is what the mission statement talks about. Now, the components of mission statements given by Abell, one of the management scholar. So he says that the customer group is the one who is being satisfied. What has been satisfied is the customer needs, and how needs are satisfied with the help of distinctive or competitiveness advantage. So this is what is given by Abell also. Element of mission statement. So what are the important elements of mission statement? So one is the purpose, that is the existence of the business. One is the values, that is what the management believes in. One is the standards and behavior, that the rules that guide the business operation. Another is the strategy and core scope, what the business, what is the business and how the business is. So basically, these are the elements. So here, and you may get these questions: what are the elements? What are the benefits? What are the characteristics in the maybe in the form of case study? That's how also it nowadays it comes, or maybe in the form of code question. Second one we have is the vision statement. So what is the vision statement? Is the one which identify the organization's wants in the future. So it should be definitely best, it should be to be meet with the needs of the shareholders. So it describes dreams and aspirations for the future of the organization. The vision is the potential view to view things, ahead of themselves. So it is basically a foresight, you can say. It answers the question where we want to be. So it is, it is talking about the future planning. It gives a reminder about what is attempted, what we attempt to develop. So for example, Microsoft vision is to empower the people through great software anytime, any place, or any device. And Walmart's vision is to become worldwide leader in retailing. So it is talking about the future path of every organization, and that's what it is meant for. Okay, now we have next is vision statement is effective with what features? So what are the features of vision statement? So it must be ambiguous. It means it should be not have any ambiguity and clarity. So it should be clear with the meaning. Then it must be harmonized with the values and cultures. It should be realistic, or you can say rational, okay, which have a real touch in it. It should be definitely, the vision statement should be shorter and should be easier to memorize. So it is something which is, which is easy to remember or to memorize with a shorter amount of, statement. Now, how to create this vision statement? So yes, it can be created with the help of intuition, or, relies on intuition and dreaming, through which it can be created. Brainstorming within the staff members, that is, everyone should be allowed to think over it, and based on that, the ideas, something should be finalized. There are three important questions, like how do you want your community to be different? What role do you and your organization play in your community, what success looks like? So yes, are the basic questions which a vision statement should be able to answer. Now, components, see, we have studied elements and components of mission also. So same way, the components of vision is the core ideology, that is the long-lasting character, of a firm as it passes, depending upon the technology as well as, competition, the values, the beliefs, the principles, and the practices. Then how to connect these values to the strategic vision. And envision feature, it means the long-term goals, the description of, what it will be to like and achieve a particular goal. So that particular goal. So the characteristics of effective vision will be graphic. It can be directional, it can be focused, it can be flexible, it can be feasible, it has to be desirable, and one which is easily communicated. There are but some shortcomings of vision statement. If it can be incomplete, vision statements cannot make any sense. If they are unclear or there is some ambiguity, again it will it will not give a proper perfect meaning. It lacks motivational power. It is, it is not distinctive. It means not similar with the other companies. It should not, but these are the shortcomings which have been observed. It is too generic. It does not talks about result in the work. It means it does not talks about, action which is intended, and it is sometimes considered as irrelevant also. So yes, this can be certain shortcomings of the vision statement. Now, next comes is the part of strategic intents and goals and objectives. So yes, goals is nothing but a future state of an organization. So if it specify that the organization should, attend the mission or vision. So goals make the vision more prominent and concrete. They coordinate and integrate various functional and departmental areas of the organization. And the features of the goals, it can be precise and measurable. They look critical and significant. They are realistic. They should be achieved with a specific time, and they include both financial as well as, the non-financial components, which are important in order to achieve the goal, and you can say the goal and objective of an organization. So yes, so you can differentiate goal versus objectives. So goals are the final outcome, whereas the objectives are, something specific which helps to achieve the final goal. So first comes the objectives and then the final goal. It is what you want to achieve, and objectives, it's how are you going to achieve it. So they are broader than the objectives. They are more specific. Goals are more specific. Goals are maybe not measurable, but objectives are measurable. Goals have a longer time frame, whereas objectives has a shorter time frame. So you should be knowing, because again, a statement question can create a problem. So that's the reason you should be knowing this very clearly. Okay. Now, what are the approaches to determine the objectives? So you can take a top-down approach where the objectives are determined by the top-level people, that is management, and then they are communicated to subordinates. And bottom-up approach, it means the subordinates determine their job and the same would be presented to the top level. So that is one which is decided, determined, and passed on. Another one which is, which is suggested and passed on. So it is top-down and bottom-up approach. So can there be a failure for can there be certain reasons for the failure of strategic management? Yes, there can be. Failure to define the objective correctly, failure to understand the customers, failure to predict the environment, the competitors, overestimation of the resources which was not required, to coordinate and to communicate with the management, failure to obtain the employee commitment where they're not dedicated, loyal, or they're not able to perform as per the deadlines, failure to accept the change. If the change is not accepted, it becomes difficult. Poor communication and unrealistic expectations yes, these are the few of the reasons through which strategic management, there can be a failure for strategic management. So yes, this really makes, a lot of efforts go waste. So it has to be considered in such a manner that it does not result into any loss to the business. So when we talk about levels, so we have studied this very well, that is corporate level, business level, function level. So all the functions like procurement, research, development, you have your R&D, okay? You have business level, where this business unit is considered, corporate level where the corporate strategy is considered, okay? Now, so when we talk about corporate level strategy, so corporate level strategy is basically the outlines of overall strategy. It defines the markets, it plans the market to be entered. Then we have business level strategy, which uses the corporate strategy, which defines the tactics, which relates how the business unit can be, planned with the different tactics. And functional level strategy, it is day-to-day, needs. It is a relation between the business units or the functional goals which can be met. So these are all taken under. So let's start with today's topic. So as I said, we have decided to go with strategic analysis. So let's see what is part of strategic analysis. So first you have a generic strategy. So wherein you have the diagrammatic presentation in the form of cost leadership, cost focus, differentiation focus, lower cost difference, and as the parameters under lower cost and differentiation, target based, or sorry, a broad target as well as narrow target, and this is the competitive scope. So let's see in detail how this diagrammatic representation is, to understand this diagrammatic representation. So let's go with the first quadrant, that is, cost leadership. So cost leadership, basically it produces or provides goods and services which are at lower cost than the rivals. So when we're talking about cost leadership, where you have a broad target and lower cost, so you have the prices which are low than the rivals. There are two ways of achieving this. You can increase the profit by reducing the cost, or you can increase the market share by reducing the prices. So this is the way you can achieve the target. This strategy is more effective when the market consists of many price sensitive buyers. Buyers do not care about the differences from the brand, but for them prices is more important. There is a large number of buyers with significant bargaining power, and hence this can really help it out. Now, what does cost leadership do? What to do? So there is a high efficiency, there is low overheads, there is effective budgetary control, wide span of control. You have limited prerequisites for manager. At the same time, you have reduction in waste and inefficiency, rewards linked to cost containment, and as well as employee participation in cost control. So these are all, what exactly cost leadership do. So this is what has been done. Then we have is how to achieve this advantage. So we can say that, we can achieve this with the help of economies of scales. We can achieve it with the help of leveraging on the learning curve effects, that is through experience, personal, or, with the practices that makes man perfect. We can also include cost to key resource inputs in the form of low wages, low cost raw materials, bargaining with suppliers, sharing resources with, other business units. Outsourcing can be one of the option. First mover advantages, or higher capacity utilization. So these are the options which are given in the diagrammatic form also. So like which tells, about the economies of scales, which tells you about the wages, raw materials, bargaining with the suppliers, lower cost input. So this can be implemented in order to achieve the cost advantage and become the cost leadership. Next is, it is suitable for what, that is, situation is suitable for cost leadership. Which type of situation? So you can get, statements out of this. So when we talk about situations for cost leadership, we have severe price competition, we have identical product, we have few ways to achieve the product differentiation, we have buyer uses the product in the same way, we can go with a low switching cost, we have higher bargaining power among buyers, as well as the rivals who is, penetrating the price method. So these are the situations in which you can implement your cost leadership. Now we have is the benefit of cost leadership. So when we talk about the low cost strategy, benefits will be what? We will be getting the average returns despite of the strong competition. So we have an assurance of getting the returns. It helps to substantial entry buyers, with the help of from economies of scales. It puts company in a favorable position by substituting the products as well as adding new or existing competition. Then we have low cost leader gains, that is buyer bargaining power, as they require huge quantity of raw materials due to economies of scale. So these are the benefits which we get. Then what are the pitfalls of low cost strategy? It means the drawbacks, you can say. The rivals can share, a common input or raw material, which can be dangerous. The strategy can be imitated easily. It means it can be followed by others easily. Lower profitability due to aggressive, price cutting. So that can also be possible under this. So it has to be very carefully tackled. Next, some examples which are given over here. It's like, Walmart's everyday low price. This is to just for a better understanding that Walmart example we can use. We have Walmart's having less cost incurred for advertising, extensive information sharing with the vendors, that is via online system, where you can again save the cost. Negotiating can again help to save the cost. Okay. And it helps the Walmart within, 15 miles of 90% of the American population. It means, so they can, with this method, they can capture the population of America, and that also without, with the low cost strategy. So that becomes very easier for them. This is what we have learned over here. Then we have some examples. IKEA, that is again a furniture, the retailer, the furniture retailer, which has the country, which gets source furniture from the countries with the cheap labor. McDonald's having, inexperienced staff instead of trained one. Southwest Airlines, where they reduces the time flights, I mean to say the time flight stays at the airport by organizing more flights and using e-ticketing system so as to reduce the staff. So this can be some of the examples which talks about the cost leadership, how you can achieve cost leaderships and which are those organizations which does that. Next, when we have is differentiation. So differentiation strategies are attractive when the buyer's needs and preferences are diverse. So it can be useful only in the diverse needs. So what it helps the firm in what way? It is a command, it's a premium price for the product. It increases the unit sale because additional buyers are own over, differentiating features. It gain buyer loyalty. So some buyers are strongly attracted to the differentiating features and creates, the bond is created by the organization. So differentiation strategies really help for the buyers who are, who really want to go for, the needs and preferences are too diverse. So types of differentiation themes, so like for example, unique taste. You can take an example. Multiple features, that is Microsoft or micro windows, micro office is an example. Wide selection on one-stopping shopping, that is Amazon is an example. Superior service, that is FedEx is an example. Spare parts availability, Caterpillar is an example. Engineering, design and performance, BMW and Mercedes is an example. Prestige and distinctiveness, Rolex. So these are, these are the different themes where you can find, the consumer with different preferences. Now, differentiation, types of differentiation. So you can differentiate with the help of product reliability, like Johnson and Johnson in baby products. Quality manufacturer, you can go with Toyota and Honda in automobiles. Technological leadership, where you have 3M Corporation in bonding and coating the products. A full range of services, where you have Charles Schwab in stock brokerage. A complete line of products, where you have Campbell soups, or where you have the lineman image and reputation with the help of Lauren, or that is Ralph Lauren or Starbucks. So here you can go with the help of types also with different themes, okay, under the differentiation. But as we know that here the buyer's needs and preference are too diverse. Then we have a source of, how do you get this source of differentiation? So with the help of supply chain activities, like for example, the performance of the quality of the company's product. Starbucks has an highest rating on the coffees, because it has very strict specification on the coffee beans. Research and development activities, which has been taken with, a variety of product line, wider product variety, or a selection, or a recycling capability, or environmental protection. When we have technology related activities, it talks about quality improvement, reliability, and appearance. Then what are the conditions for differentiation? So in which suitable conditions can be this used? When there are so many ways to differentiate, when the buyer's needs are diverse, when the rivals are adopting this approach, or the technology is fast and competition revolves under the unique product features. What can be the pitfalls of differentiation? Yes, uniqueness does not create value for customers at times. Too much differentiation can result into the increase in the cost for the organization. It can be easily imitated. There is, this also is possible. And the perception of differentiation varies between buyer and seller. That is, in the form of nano example we have taken. Now, focus strategy. So we can go for with, what can be the focus strategy? You can go with a niche strategy, that is unexplored market, you can say. You can target a segment that is which has a geographical uniqueness. A firm's focus on, narrow or defined segment of market can be reported. Exploitation of particular segment that is different or is completely different from the rest of the country or rest of the industries, and it is either focused on low or cost or differentiation. So here example also I have given, the shampoo sachets that is ₹1 in the rural areas. Take any state, it is not specifically Tamil Nadu, but any state, return 5 shampoo sachets and get 1 check free. So this is, a strategy where you are focusing on certain things and gaining the customer. So now let's start with the analysis part that is part B. So first we are going to talk about the BCG matrix. Now what exactly, you can see this BCG matrix, also a lot of questions are, a part of your paper 2. So you should be very careful with the concept. So the BCG matrix is a tool that can be used to determine what priorities should be given in the form of product portfolio. So it has two dimensions, that is it has a market share as well as market growth, the dimensions. Now, the basic idea behind this is that the bigger the market share a product has, or the faster the market share grows, the better is for the company. So obviously, it indicates the positivity. Now, placing the BCG matrix results into 4 categories. It also helps to analyze the generators and optimum users. Each of the company's business is positioned in the matrix according to its growth rate, that is market growth rate, and the competitive position. So let's see what are these dimensions basically, and let's slowly go to each and every factor. So market growth rate, which refers to the sales, projected sales, rate of sales for a particular business. It is usually measured in the percentage increase in sales in the market, or the unit or the volume over the last 2 recent years. That is, 2 recent years are taken into consideration. So market growth indicates that relative attractiveness of the market of that particular or the business which has been served. Relative composition, competitive position is nothing but the ratio of business market share divided by the market share of the largest competitor. So whatever specific ratio you have, it is divided by the largest competitor in that market, and in the market that provides a basis for comparing the relative strength of different businesses in the portfolio. So now diagrammatically presentation, if you look, so we have the matrix in the form of star, cash cow, that is, we have a star, we have a dog, we have a cash cow, and we have that is, we have a market in selection. So yes, let's individually understand each and every aspect of this particular elements of BCG. So we have a star. So star indicates the high. So in match the following, this questions comes a lot. So unless and until your concept is not clear, it becomes difficult to attempt the match the following also. So yes, high share, market share is a high growth environment. Growing rapidly are the best long run opportunities, in the terms of profitability and growth. Leaders in their business, they are the leaders in the business, and they generate large amount of cash. They require substantial investment to maintain and expand their position in the growing market. So this is because of the high share, they are expected to enjoy, a lower cost structure, and at the same time, they're lower share competitors because of the experience. Okay, so if you can see, star, I mean to say, because of the high share, they're expected to enjoy the lower cost structure, which is a benefit for them, and their lower share competitors because of the experience it affect. So basically, this is the indication of a star. Now, when we go to the cash cows, the cash cow indicates, the cash cows are the low growth. They are the high market share products, but at the same, or the divisions, you can say. Now, when we talk about cash cows, it is because of their high market, they have the low cost, and they generate, the cash. This is what has been observed. Since their growth is slow, they are seen with a slow growth. There is reinvestment cost is low. Cash cows provide funds for overheads or dividend and investment for the rest of the firms in excess of their needs. Now, these businesses serves as what a corporate source for development. So they are, they maintain their strong market share while efficiently generating the excess things. They are the foundation of any firm or any organization, and their stability is appropriate strategy for them. So basically, the best strategy for them is the stability. Question mark we have, and then we have a dog. Sorry, so this was a thing which quadrant I was one missing. So question mark. So basically, it is high growth. So this is how it comes in the match the following. That's the reason I have just highlighted in the bold form. So when you're listening to the lecture, you can even take the notes down. Okay. So when we say about question mark, it is the high growth, low market share products. Okay. The cash needs are high. Generation is low. They need to gain share by, additional generating the additional market share. And yes, if nothing is done to change the market share, question marks will simply absorb the great amount of cash and the growth, and as the growth stops, as it indicates towards the dog. Either investing heavily, or sell off, or invest nothing. Whatever cash can generate, whatever cash it can, so this can be the best option. This is the best solution for this particular situation. It aims to gain share rather than to maximize the short term profitability. So the question marks should be converted into stars and then later into the cash cow. The strategy will lead to what? It will lead to cash drain in the short run, but yes, there will be a positive flow in the long run, so that it will flow, it will definitely have a positive option. And yes, this option will be there. Other option can be in the form of disinvestment. Then comes the dog finally, that is the low growth, is the slow, and relative market share is also low. So because of low market share, it is expected to have a high cost structure. It is difficult and extremely expensive to for them to gain the share in the mature market. So it means they cannot they cannot go back, they cannot go back, like they cannot be back. Disinvestment or rapid harvesting is one of the strategy for such weak business. Often this low capital intensity businesses can be a fruitful cash generators. So what to do in such situations? It's better to avoid and minimize the number of dogs in the company. One should be aware of expensive turnaround plans, and otherwise it's better to liquidate. So you can't see, these are the situations which which the organization falls in, so you cannot definitely stop them. The only thing what you can take is the precautionary step, or better to be taking a right decision. So yeah, I've given an examples of a BCG matrix. So I have given a separate example of Apple, that is the stars, the question mark, the dogs, and the cash cow. So iPods, okay, question mark was an Apple TV, but the star was an iPad and iBook, okay. Cash cow was in the form of MacBooks. So this was an exclusive example of Apple. If you see in the another diagram, I have given different organizations. So you have different organization. This is, see, there will be definitely no questions, but this is just to make your concepts clear, that which organizations does well with the BCG matrix. That's what I have listed, okay. And Apple, I have given an example exclusively. So what can be the limitations of BCG matrix? It is difficulty in defining the market, measuring the market share, and market growth. It fails to recognize the market with the growth rate, or average market share. The relationship between the share and the profit, that is market share and profit, varies across the industry and the segment. Yes, it is not, you can't say it will be one and the same. In some industries it will be large, whereas in some industries it will definitely does not work out, like Mercedes-Benz. So it is low market share, but it has a high profitability. Not helpful, particularly in comparing the investment opportunities. Why? Because it is different business units are following the different portfolios, so you can't get a standardized view for this particular businesses. So it depends all on respect to the industry or to the segments. Next one you have is five forces model, Porter's five forces model. This is also, you are definitely getting questions on this. So it is an analysis tool with five forces in order to determine the intensity of the competition in an industry and its profitability level. So it was given by Porter, that is in 1979, to understand the competitive forces. So any industry with low barriers to enter, having few buyers or suppliers, but many substitute products and competitors will be seen as a very competitive, and thus not so attractive due to its lower profitability. So like, for example, it talks about the bargaining power of suppliers, it talks about the bargaining power of the customers, it talks about the rivalry, it talks about the threats of substitute, or it talks about the threat of new entrants. Okay, so this is how basically it is involved in. Now let's see what exactly it is. When is industry attractive in this situation, and when it is not unattractive, you can say. So attractive indicates high profit, no, unattractive indicates low profit. So when we talk about high profits, that has high barriers to enter, weak suppliers, bargaining power, weak buyers, bargaining power, few substitute products or services, there is low competition. Then when we talk about unattractive industry, there are low barriers to enter, strong suppliers having bargaining power, strong buyers having bargaining power, then we have many substitute products or services and this intense competition. So you can see this is parallelly, it is exactly going same. So this really plays an important role. Now in statement format, as you know, nowadays case study format is also coming. So they can give you any points in order to recognize the attractive industry and unattractive industry. So these points can be helpful for you. So threats of new entrants, one by one, let's see. So that definitely this force determines how easy or not to enter a new market or industry it is. Maybe there are barriers, maybe there are rivals. So definitely the threat is very high when the following points are noted, like low amount of capital, or existing companies or existing firms do not possess patents, trademarks. Then there is no government regulation, the switching cost is low, customer loyalty is low, products are nearly identical, or economies of scales can be easily achieved. So in this situation, you can understand the threat of the new entrants is high. So these are the situations which will tell you, or which will give you an indication that the new entrants chances are very high. Next you have is the bargaining power of supplier. So there is a strong bargaining power of supplier is allowed to sell high priced or low quality raw material goods. So this directly affects the buying firm's profit because they have to pay more for the material. So suppliers have strong bargaining power when. So these are the conditions when the strong bargaining powers can be exhibited. So there are few suppliers but many buyers. Suppliers are large and they threaten to forward integrate. Few substitutes like raw materials exist, or they have scarce resources. And yes, the cost of switching of the raw material is especially very high. So in such case, you will understand that there is a strong, bargaining power. Now, bargaining power with buyers. So yes, that indicates, the demand, that is to demand lower price or high product quality, yes, lower price, it means lower revenue for the producer, while higher quality products raises, production cost. So basically, the scenario results in the low profit. Now, what can be the buyer's strong bargaining power can be when it can be exhibited in which of the options? Buying a large quantity or to control the access points, only few buyers exist. Switching cost is definitely low. The threaten to backward integrate in suppliers, we saw forward integrate. There are many substitutes and the buyers are, price sensitive. So these conditions will say that, buyers exist a strong bargaining power. So here you are going to get questions on this only. Where can be the threat higher for a new entrant? Where can be the bargaining power? The suppliers have a strong bargaining power. When can it seen that the buyers have a strong bargaining power? So these are the options which indicates that, these situations are going to come. Substitutes, threat. So this force is especially threatening when the buyers can easily find the substitutes, like either in the form of price, which is attractive, or the quality. So for example, to switch from coffee to tea doesn't cost anything, unlike switching from car to bicycle. So that is, either they take it in the price format or they take it in the form of quality. Now, how can be the rivalry among existing competitors occur? So what indicates? So obviously, this is, it is regarding the competition and profitability. So when we talk about the rivalry of the competitors is intense, in which situations it will be intense. So there are many competitors. The exit barriers are high. The growth is slow, or it can be negative also. Products are not differentiated and cannot be easily substituted. Competitors are of equal size and the low customer loyalty is being found. So yes, now we have the next is 7S framework. So basically this was a model which was developed by Tom Pitter and Robert Waterman in the year 1970. Here also years or the developers of the models are being sometimes asked. So this particular 7S framework was an element for an organization which needed to get alignment successfully. So for the department or for the merger or acquisition, during a merger or acquisition, which consisted of soft and hard elements. So we are going to talk in detail about the soft elements and we are going to talk about the detail of hard elements. So what is this 7 frameworks? S framework stands for. So it has hard and soft, but Overall, it is strategy, structure, system, style, values, skills, and staff. So we are going to see one by one. So this is how it is, diagrammatically how it is related. But let us go for the explanation properly. So where it is applied? So it is basically applied for a change. It is applied, to implement a new strategy, that is action, to identify the area which may change in future, or to facilitate the merger. So let's first have a look at hard elements. That is the strategy, that is action, which is developed, in order to achieve the competition, for which a sound strategy is required, which will work till long term, which will achieve to give the competitive advantage. And definitely it will reinforce by the vision, mission, and values of the organization. When we talk about structure, it is like basically who is accountable to whom. So structure talks about this. That's the reason I've just highlighted the important parts. So the organizational, in other words, structure is the chart of the firm. It is also one of the most visible and easy to change element of the framework. So system, it talks about the process and the procedure, which reveals, the activities of the business. It determines how the business is done, and how the focus the managers has to be during the change. Then when we talk about soft, that is the S factors. So it talks about the skills, that is the ability of the employee to perform well. Staff, where we talk about what type and how many employees are recruited, trained, or motivated, or rewarded. When we talk about the style, that is how the top level managers manages the business with their uniqueness or with their management style. And values talks about the McKinsey 7S model. It means the norms, the standards with this respect to the behavior of the employee, the company actions, or which are the foundation of all the organizations.